Hello students, how are you doing? So we have started an amazing YouTube channel, that is the Smart Book, and we have started this amazing series called NEET series, and in this series we'll be covering the entire NEET syllabus for all the class 11 and 12 students especially. So make sure go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be providing some awesome amazing content for all of you. And make sure comment down below which topic you want. So we have started biology today, which includes the diversity in the living world. So in this video we'll be covering the living world. So this unit, the diversity in the living world, consists of 4 chapters: the living world, biological classification, plant kingdom, and the animal kingdom. And these are the 4 important chapters. And the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, there is a lot to remember. So we this living world chapter, I'll be dividing this whole chapter into 5 different lectures in order to memorize each and everything in a conceptual manner. I'm there for you, don't worry. This is Sohith. So anyone who have any doubts or questions, make sure comment down below, and I'll try to answer in my upcoming videos. So I always start with a lovely quotation before I start my lecture. So here is our lovely quotation: failures are the stepping stones of success. So many elders have told you this, so I'm telling again, failures are the stepping stones of success. Many take it as no. So when you face a failure, you'll always get to know the reason behind it, and you will get to know the reason behind it, and you'll be able to resolve that problem, and you'll make sure that that problem will not arise in the future. So like that, you have to move on and face towards success. So before going to enter our chapter, we need to know what is life. So what is life? It's a unique, complex organization of molecules that expresses itself through chemical reactions that lead to development, growth, adaptation, consciousness, and reproduction. What are you saying? Are you thinking like that? So let me break down into simple subtopics, and like simple in an easy way to remember. So life is a unique. What is the meaning of unique? Very quite different from others. It's a unique process. What is complex? It's a very vast system. Life is a very vast system, so hence it's complex. Organization of molecules. What is this organization of molecules? Organization of molecules is nothing but, you might have learned it in chemistry: electron, proton, neutron, and these 3 together forms an atom. Atom forms an element. Element forms the building blocks, and this is known as matter. Like that, in biology also we have this organization of molecules. Like, cell forms a tissue, tissue forms an organ forms an organ system forms an organism. Like that expresses itself through chemical reactions. What are these chemical reactions? Endothermic, exothermic, all these are not chemical reactions, which means the reactions which occur inside our body, and these reactions leads to development, growth, adaptation, responsiveness, reproduction. What is this development? Some total changes that occur in the body of an organism. Note it down. Some total changes that occur in a body of an organism. Growth. What is growth? I'll tell you in a very easy manner. Progressive increase in size and mass of an organism due to the synthesis of protoplasmic and the apoplasmic substances. What is this protoplasmic and endoplasmic apoplasmic substances? Why you're saying everything new we can't understand? Are you thinking like that? I'll break it down for you. So for example, take this is a cell. So the inner, the components present inside the cell are non-living matter. So they are protoplasmic, and the components which is present outside of the cell are known as apoplasmic substances. Due to this synthesis of these substances it able to increase the size and mass of an organism. This is nothing but growth. It's a biological definition. If you go into deeper, there are a lot of definitions of growth, but remember that growth is not a defining feature at all. And we have discussed about growth. Responsiveness is nothing but the sensitivity and response. Sense plus response is nothing but responsiveness. And what is this? Adaptation, adjusting to the environment, like habitats. Reproduction, what is this? Reproduction, ability to procreate. Arey bhai sahab, what is this procreate? Are you thinking like that? No. Ability to procreate is nothing but formation of new individuals of similar kind, like from their parent cell, formation of similar individuals. Okay, so there are several characteristics of living beings. First is definite shape and size. Every creature has different shapes and sizes, from small insect to bigger animals. And organization of molecules, I've told you before. Cells forms tissues forms organ forms an organ system forms an organism. Growth and development, I've told you before. And then reproduction, ability to procreate. Homeostasis. So what is this homeostasis? So it is a maintenance. Let me write it down for you. Maintenance of internal environment of an organism. Maintenance of internal environment of an organism. This internal environment includes osmoregulation and a thermoregulation. What is this thermoregulation? Temperature. Regulation of temperature is nothing but thermoregulation. And osmoregulation, maintenance of water and ionic concentration of a body, is nothing but the osmoregulation. We'll be discussing about each and every subtopic out here in this entire session. So metabolism consists of catabolism and the anabolism. Anabolism, building up, breakdown. So we'll be discussing about it further. Consciousness, self-awareness, adaptation, adjustability, evolution, the changes in the characteristics of species from the likewise generations. From one generation, in the process of inheritance, there are several changes that occurs in the species. So this is nothing but the evolution. Repair and regeneration. Let me tell this. For example, if you have got hurt and your skin is damaged, so after 2 or 3 weeks, your skin gets recovered. Why? Due to the process of repair and regeneration process. Aging. So aging is due to the accumulation of waste substances in your body. When you grew older, your skin gets fluffy and all. This is nothing but aging. Death, there are 2 types of death, clinical and biological death. We'll be discussing about it. Yeah, definite shape and size. So there are several small creatures to big creatures, non-living matter, living matter. So living organisms have definite shape and size which may change within a narrow range. Due to this property, the living organisms are called morphous. This is very important thing, you have to note it down. It's very, very important in NEET paper point of view. And non-living matter is termed as amorphous. Amorphous, living matter, amorphous, non-living matter. Let's go to other slide. Organization. So I have wrote it down before itself for you. Cell, tissue, organ system. It's a differentiation of smaller units and subunits which are arranged in an orderly manner. What is this orderly manner and what is this smaller units and subunits? Very simple. Organ system, organs. So let me tell for you. Tissue is a subunit, cell is a subunit of tissue. Tissue is a subunit of organ. Organ is a subunit of organ system. Organism organ system is a subunit of organism, like that. Okay, did you get clarity about this? We have completed this first point. And second point, organism comprises of organ system. Organ system oh, I've told you this. Let me write it down in a very small flow chart. Cell, tissue, organ system, organism. And if you want to get more into this cell consists of organelle. What does this organelle contain? Organelle contains biomolecules. See, from small biomolecule to organelle, organelle to cell, cell to tissue, tissue to organ, organ to organ system to organism. So this is the flow chart of it. Second point is completed. Third point, due to this presence of organization, a living being is called organism. So you have got clarity about the definite shape and size, organization. Growth and development. What is this growth and development? I have told you. Growth is the progressive increase in size and mass of an organism due to the synthesis of protoplasmic and ectoplasmic substances. So here what? Growth is permanent and irreversible change in the size of a cell, organ or organism accompanied by an increase in dry weight, mass and number. It's a permanent one. It cannot be temporary. Once it's done, it cannot be reversible. Okay, in the size of a cell, it may be in the case of a cell, organ or an organ system or an organism, accompanied by an increase in, it may be in the chances of dry weight or in the mass of a cell or a number of cells. Growth can be seen in the number of cells or the weight, the dry weight or a mass. Okay, development is the sum total changes that occur in an organism during its lifetime. I've told you this at the beginning. Growth can be seen in both plants and animals. Plant growth, animal growth. In plants, we have meristematic tissues where the cell division occurs continuously. Hence, this plant growth occurs throughout its life. Whereas in animal growth, like in human beings and several other animals, the growth is irreversible. It cannot be reversed. And in plant also, it's not reversed. But the plants, the growth starts throughout, it occurs continuously throughout its life. Whereas in animals, the growth is not continuous. It's only restricted up to a certain stage. So there are three processes involved in growth, that is cell enlargement, cell division and the secretion of ectoplasmic substances. Let me tell you for you. Cell division. So do you know what? In biology, multiplication and division gives the same meaning. Like, there is paramecium, or like anything, paramecium reproduces through fission. So if fission, division into 2 and 2 to 3 like this, this can be termed as 1 becomes 2. It can be termed as multiplication, or it's a division. 1 into 2, it's a division, or 1 became 2, it may become a multiplication. So in biology, it's a very different thing where the multiplication and division gives the same meaning in biology. So cell division, cell enlargement, the elongation or the increase in size of the cell, secretion of apoplasmic substances. Apoplasmic substances are nothing but the cell components which are present outside of the cell, the components of the cell which are present outside of the cell. Okay, and these are the living matter. Protoplasmic are living non-living matter and apoplasmic are living matter. You have to remember that. Note it down. It's very, very important in NEET paper point of view. Growth and development. Oh yeah. So there are two kinds of growth and development, that is interception and the accretion. What is interception? So internal growth is generally termed as interception. What is accretion? It happens in non-living organisms. For example, sand, mountain, stones and all. These shows accretion. What is accretion? Non-living organisms increase in size due to the addition of similar materials over them. Did you get the point? For example, there is a small stones, and this small stones becomes a big stone due to the accumulation of similar materials over the surface of their body. This forms an accretion. Non-living organisms shows this kind of growth and development, whereas in living organisms it shows internal growth. What is this internal growth? So due to the process of metabolism, this organization of molecules, there is a certain change in size of an organism, and this is called the interception. Okay, so growth producing substances. What are these growth producing substances? I've told you, protoplasmic and the apoplasmic substances. So protoplasmic is living matter, I've told you, and that is what mentioned here. Like cytoplasm and the nucleus are the protoplasmic substances. Very, very, very important in NEET paper point of view. And apoplasmic substances are non-living components like cell wall, bone matrix, fibers and all like that. So metabolism is nothing but the sum total changes of sum total of various biochemical reactions occurring in a cell. Sum total of biochemical reactions. What are these biochemical reactions? There are some reactions in both biological and chemical reactions, so they are known as biochemical reactions. So the biochemical reactions all together form a metabolism, and it's a defining property of all living organisms. It's very important point. Do you know reproduction is not a defining feature of all living organisms, but it distinguishes from living being to non-living being. We'll be discussing about it further. Okay, metabolism is of two kinds, I've told you: anabolism, catabolism. Anabolism, which means building up; catabolism, breakdown. Anabolism, building up, which means constructive metabolism. Catabolism, destructive metabolism, right? Anabolism can be seen in photosynthesis. Catabolism can be seen in respiration and all. It's very, very important, and this metabolism topic itself is very, very important. Make sure take a screenshot or otherwise take a note. Reproduction, ability to procreate. So formation of new individuals of similar kind. Life arises from pre-existing life. You have remembered. It's not essential for survival of individuals. So reproduction is not essential for survival of individuals, but metabolism is required for the survival of individuals. Reproduction is just for production of new individuals. It doesn't matter whether it survives or not. Okay, it is not a defining feature of all living organisms. It distinguishes from living being and non-living. I've told you just now. And sexual and asexual reproductions are present. Here sexual means biparental, asexual means uniparental, and in sexual fertilization takes place. Asexual, no fertilization, and in sexual variations takes place, and asexual variations does not take place. Why are these variations? To provide raw material for the evolution. Did you get the point? Okay. Homeostasis, maintenance of internal environment of an organism. So maintenance of constant body temperature. What is this maintenance of constant body temperature? It consists of two regulations: so osmoregulation, thermoregulation. Thermoregulation, maintenance of body temperature; osmoregulation, regulation of water and ionic concentration. It's very, very simple, and many of you guys have may get it out. Hemostasis and homeostasis. What is the difference between homeostasis and the hemostasis? So hemostasis is nothing but hemostasis. Stasis means prevent blood prevention. It is nothing but blood prevention. Homeostasis is nothing but maintenance of body temperature, ionic and water concentration, and don't deviate. So make sure concentrate in the class, and there is a huge difference between homeostasis and the hemostasis. Make sure remember that. Consciousness is nothing but sensitivity and the response. What is the sensitivity and response? Awareness of surroundings and responding to external stimuli. Awareness of the surroundings and responding to external stimuli. Did you get the point? Stimuli is perceived by sense organs. Stimuli, this is sense organ. It receives the signal. It's like sign of stimulus, and it gives the response to the feedback to the brain to remove like something response. Okay, did you get the point? Are you concentrating in class? Make sure to concentrate in the class and listen carefully. Okay. Okay, yeah. Plants do not have any sophisticated sense organs, so plants respond to external factors such as light is nothing but phototrophism, temperature, touch is through thigmotrophism, moisture, pollutants, etc. So what is this picture over here? It is touch me not plant. Okay, touch me not plant. Touch me not plant. You might have seen it in your surroundings or everywhere, or you might have learnt about this in your class 5th or 8th grade, and you might have seen those pics in your earlier grades. So the scientific name is Mimosa pudica, and the other names are Lajwanti, or this Atipati in Telugu, or Chui Mui, and this is scientific name. It's a normal name, it's a casual name, it's a local name in China. Okay, humans have self consciousness, and that is known as self awareness. Very, very important. Adaptation. So what is this adaptation? Okay, adaptation, adjustability to environment. So I've told you this in the first slide over there, in the characteristics of living beings. Useful inheritable changes in form, function, behavior, which enables an organism to adjust well and successfully in its environment. Did you get the point? So in order to classify whether the organism is well adapted or not, there are two categories mainly. They are survival and breeding. If the organism persists these two situations, then the organism is known as well adapted. Did you get the point? Okay, and let's go to other slide. So in this adaptation, there are two types, short term and the long term. What is the short term and long term? In the short term, the organisms live in a very short period of time. So why in a very short period of time? To overcome the stress and or in response to particular season. Due to the changes in season, they may live very short period, or to overcome the stress, they might live a very short period. Whereas in long term, they live for a very long time, and moreover, they develop in response to struggle for existence in order to survive. They struggle a lot for their existence. Okay, and in short term, they disappear as soon as the stress period is over. So if the stress period is over, they get disappeared from the earth. These are either heritable or acquired and have a little role in evolution. This may be either herited from one generation to other generation, or maybe acquired character. What is the meaning of acquired character? You might have learnt in your classroom. Acquired character are nothing but the characters that develop during the life cycle of an organism, like getting really very fit during aesthetic person. That that feature is not carried on to next generation. The feature which is not inheritable, that is acquired character. The character that is developed during the life of an organism, during the life cycle of an organism. Okay, there are example, most amphibians, reptiles, and some mammals hibernate during unfavorable conditions. What is hibernate? Hibernate, it's a very important term, and you will be getting this in your animal kingdoms chapters also. It's a very important term. Hibernation is nothing but winter sleep. And what is estivation? It's quite opposite to that. It is summer sleep. And during unfavorable conditions, many animals do winter sleep, like mammals amphibians, reptiles and all. Okay, due to this their metabolism is slowed down and they utilize stored nutrients to obtain energy. During this process they get tired and they don't have proper nourishment. Okay, due to that the metabolism is slowed down. In their previous life they have stored some of the nutrients in them, in their body, in the specialized cells. With that energy they regain that energy and move on. In long term these are lifelong and remain present all the time in every season, or they always struggle throughout the life. These are also these are always heritable. In short term these may be heritable or acquired and have a little role in evolution, whereas it is heritable and have a major role in evolution. It's a main difference point between them, and you have to remember in long term there are several examples, so woodpecker, hawk, ostrich and all. So in the parameter of clinging and climbing, woodpecker comes to play, and in striking and climbing, hawk comes to play. Pinching, pigeon, running, ostrich, swimming, duck, these examples are not as important, but this third points in these both are very important, and this first point is very important in the NEET paper point of view. And let's go to the slide, and this is evolution. Evolution is nothing but the changes in characters of species from one generation to other generation. The changes in characteristics of species over several years. Okay, means to unroll, unfold or reveal hidden potential. Okay, it is evolution is to reveal the hidden potential, hidden secrets all over there, hidden things in our evolution like DNA, RNA and all. Okay, so Charles Darwin, you might know, he invented the theory of evolution, and he told about this Darwin finches found in Galapagos Islands and all. Okay, so he defined evolution as descent with modification, and this is very important in NEET paper point of view, and you have to remember this as a sentence: descent with modification. That means modification throughout the generations is nothing but the descent with modification in a very simple and in a very organized manner. And this is what the Charles Darwin said. Okay, repair and regeneration. What is this repair and regeneration? I've told you in that first slide. Ability to repair and regenerate throughout the life. Ability to repair or renew damaged or lost body parts. For example, the skin. I've told you, for example, you have lost the skin, and after 2 or 3 weeks the skin gets repaired and the lost body part is again regained. Okay, lost this part. Okay, it's an ability to repair or renew damaged or lost body parts in embryonic life of an organism. See, this is very important, embryonic life of an organism, and it's very important in your NEET paper point of view. Make sure note it down or take a screenshot of this slide. It's very important. I'm saying, when we enter from lower phylum to higher phylum, the ability of regeneration, ability to repair and regenerate increases. Like, lower phylum to higher phylum, the ability to repair and regeneration increases. From porifera to vertebrate or echinodermata, the ability to repair and regenerate increases because the number of cells increases. Due to the number of cells increment, there is a chances of greater repair and regeneration. Most of them are lost because there is a lot of mechanism going on in the cells, right? So that's why. And let's go to the slide. So aging is nothing but due to the accumulation of harmful substances inside our body, it is known as aging, and this causes aging. As we grow older, it causes aging. Progressive decline or deterioration in structure and function of an organism. Progressive decline or deterioration in structure and function of an organism. Progressive in an orderly manner, like in a smooth, in a continuous manner. Decline which means reduce. Deterioration which means reduced in or slow down. So there is something called malfunction. Due to the malfunctioning of structure and function of a cell in an organism, it disturbs as a cell and it causes aging. For example, if you stay more long in the sun, your skin gets aged. It's also called aging. Aging is of several types, cell it starts from cellular level, cellular aging, tissue aging, and hormonal aging, accumulation of waste substances. And these are several reasons why this aging starts before birth also, and this is known as biological aging. And the study of aging is called as gerontology. Very, very, very important. Study of aging is called gerontology. Remember this. Study of aging is called as gerontology. Remember, study of aging is called gerontology. Did you get it? Yeah. Okay. Generally, a process of becoming older. It's a very simple definition. Okay. Aging is of several types: cellular aging, hormonal aging, metabolic aging, accumulation of damage, or on several body parts. I have told you right now. Okay, you have to remember this. And the fourth point is very important, and the first point is very important. The study of aging is called gerontology. And don't worry, guys, I'll be leaving this entire session PDF in the description given below. Make sure after the end of the session, make sure go and download that PDF so that it might be useful for your future reference. Okay. Death, ultimate termination of function of the functional life of an organism, right? Ultimate termination, and there is no chance of respawning their life back. It's an important regulatory process to prevent overloading or overcrowding and brings the recycling of materials. So due to the overpopulation in our current situation, so it's always important to eliminate some of the members of the people from our population. So that death is only a source to get rid of overcrowding, right? To resolve that issue. Study of death is known as thanatology, and it's very, very important. These study cycles are very, very important. Study of aging is called gerontology. Study of death is called thanatology. These two are very important. That's very important in NEET paper point of view. Make sure, keep it in your mind. Okay, death is of two types: clinical death, biological death. What are clinical deaths and what is biological death? So clinical death happens when our heartbeat stops. When heartbeat stops, it's considered as clinical death, or if the pulse stops or breathing stops, or if pupil dilate. Okay. Biological death. Biological death happens when there is a stoppage in functioning of the brain, and they are known as brain dead patients, So they are known as, and the brain dead patients, the organs from a brain dead patients are it is brought and donated and reverted back into a normal person who needs that essential organs. This transplantation of this organs from a brain dead patient to another person is known as cadaver transplantation. Let me write it down for you. Cadaver transplantation. It is not mentioned in your NCERT book, but it's important, and it's mentioned in class 10 AP SSC syllabus, right? Yeah. So due to the stoppage of functioning of brain, it causes biological death, and it's a true death. Okay. Pallor mortis, paleness after death. Due to there is some paleness after death, like loose coloring, it's not as normal. It becomes very pale, and this is called pallor mortis. And the liver mortis, setting of blood in lower portion of body, reduction of body temperature following death, which is algor mortis, rigor mortis. Muscles enter a prolonged phase of contraction. Muscles will be very contracted and restricted, and they can't move anything. Muscles get restricted, and this is known as rigor mortis. So these four are not very important, and it's not mentioned in your NCERT, but take a view on it. It might come in your in test series and all, so that, because on that leave I've told you this. Okay. So let us give one short quick revision right now. So what all we have learned till now? We have learned what is life, what is growth, development, adaptation, reproduction and responsiveness. And what is reproduction? Reproduction is nothing but ability to procreate, and it's not a defining feature at all. Remember this, metabolism is a defining feature, growth is not a defining feature, reproduction is not a defining feature. But reproduction distinguishes from living being to non-living being, and it's very important thing. And you have to learn about this protoplasmic, apoplasmic. What is protoplasmic? The components or the substances present in the inside the cell is known as protoplasmic, and they are cytoplasm, etc. And what is apoplasmic? Apoplasmic substances includes bone matrix and all. Okay, and we homeostasis is a very important thing, and it maintains the internal environmental conditions inside a body of an organism, and it's a very important term, and it's quite different from hemostasis. Hemostasis is nothing but the prevention of blood. Okay, and definite shape and size, that is amorphous, and you have to learn that organization and this process involved in growth, cell division, cell enlargement, and the secretion of apoplasmic substances. These are the three important process involved in growth. Do you guys remembering? Please always revise so that you can get stick in your mind, and it will be in your brain forever. Okay, and interception, accretion. Interception, what is interception? It is seen in living beings, internal growth. What is accretion? Non-living beings, it is shown external growth. External growth is nothing but addition of material over the surface of similar body. It is seen in sands, rocks, mountains and all. Living beings only show the internal growth. Okay, growth producing substances, protoplasmic, endoplasmic, these are the very important things. And anabolism, catabolism. Anabolism, building up; catabolism, breakdown. What is the example for catabolism? Respiration, digestion. What is the example for anabolism? Photosynthesis. Okay, reproduction. Reproduction is nothing but ability to procreate. Remember that, ability to procreate. And also life arises from pre-existing cells. Life arises from oh my god, what happened? Sorry. Yeah, life arises from pre-existing cells. Remember, life exists from pre-existing cells. And always homeostasis. Homeostasis includes osmoregulation, thermoregulation. Osmoregulation, maintaining the or the regulation of water and ionic concentration. What is thermoregulation? Maintenance of internal temperature of a body. Do you guys understanding? One short quick revision, you have to revise. Okay, consciousness, stimuli, response, awareness, sensitivity and response is nothing but consciousness. Mimosa pudica, lajvanti or atipati or chimui, it's a scientific name. You have to it's a local name. You have to remember. Mimosa pudica is a scientific name. You have to remember. The general name is touch me not plant. Okay, adaptation, if you want to know if an organism is well adapted to its environment, well adapted to its habitat or not, there are two features for that. What is that? Survival, feeding. Survival, breeding. Survival, breeding. Survival, breeding. What is survival? How does it survive? Breeding. What is breeding? It's a like form of the reproduction. Breeding, like we can see crossbreeding dogs and all. Okay, this kind of adaptations are short term, long term. What are short term? Short term are there for a very limited time, and it does to overcome the stress period and as well as to from the seasonal conditions. And what is this long term? Long term is for an extended period of time, for a long time, lifelong, and they are able to survive. They response to struggle, they struggle for the existence to survive. Okay, and other thing, they have a little role. What is that little role? Short term adapted animals have a little role in evolution. This has a major role in evolution. Okay, remember, it's very important. And evolution, reveal hidden potential. And what did Darwin say? Descent with modification. Modification arises in each and every generation. So that you have to remember, he defined the evolution like that. You have to remember that. It's very, very important. Okay, it can be seen, this sentence is seen in NCRT from this evolution chapter and all. Okay, So repair and regeneration, it's very easy, and you have to remember that when we enter from lower phylum to higher phylum, like porifera to echinodermata, there is a greater ability to repair and regenerate. Okay. And aging is due to accumulation of waste materials inside our body. There are cellular aging, hormonal aging, tissue level aging, and all. Okay. And study of aging is called gerontology. What is the study of death? Thanatology. Okay. Ultimate termination of the functional life. It is done to prevent the overcrowding and the overpopulation. It is of two types: clinical death and the biological death. Okay. Clinical death, what includes the clinical death? Clinical death contains the heartbeat stops and dilation of pupil, breathing stops, pulse stops. And what about the biological death? Biological death includes the stoppage of the functioning of brain. We have pallor mortis, liver mortis, ragor mortis, and the rigor mortis, algor mortis, rigor mortis. You can remember like PLAR. Remember PLAR. What stands for P? Pallor mortis. L, liver mortis. A, algor mortis. R, rigor mortis. Like that, you have to remember. You have to prepare some mnemonics for yourself. You have to remember. It's a way to understand the concept very clearly and efficiently. So we have completed this lecture very successfully. So if I get very good response from you guys, if you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe, I'll make more and more videos for you. And also we are planning to make a Telegram group for all of our subscribers. So if you want to be a part, make sure join our Telegram group, and we'll be creating soon, and I'll be informing about that in my upcoming videos. So wait for the lecture 2, and don't forget to share with your friends, and let's build a strong community for all the students out there in our Smartbook YouTube channel, especially for NEET aspirants. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.